because whether you like them, woo, or you don't, they are the best thing, woo, in the football world today. Woo!
Welcome back to Booty Picks, the college pick'em show where all the picks are ass. I'm your host and the quarterback for the show, former coach of the Florida Gators, Doug Dickey. I didn't do too well as a coach, so you may not know about me. I did put the turf in at the Swamp, though. I also got with me Champ Brantley Jr., as always. For the second week in a row, we brought back Bad Take Peyton because Mac Murphy is nursing a tongue injury that he sustained a few nights ago. And this week we have a special guest.
Eating too much pussy.
All the way from Salt Lake City, our little vagabond, Mr. Johns Bones Jones. How we doing, boys? How do we feel about the week?
I mean, as always, love the board, but even more so this week. This is going to be a fun week. There's a couple more easy ones. Last week was, I felt like I was one of the only people all over the Oklahoma, and that was just the easiest money I've ever made. So that's the one I'm remembering. Not all of the other losses; those don't technically count in my book.
What about you, Bad Take Peyton? How do you feel this week after your weekend?
There's never a bad week when you've got a slate of football coming up. College football specifically. It's amazing. All the way from Thursday until Saturday at usually 2 a.m. Like, we've got games going on. Good games, bad games, it doesn't matter. It's still fun to watch.
It's looking like a wise
I'm excited about this week's slate.
We had one game last week that they resumed play at 1 a.m.
Yeah, only for them not to score any touchdowns. We're looking at you, Iowa Hawkeyes. Come on, get it together. Listen, Florida at least has some touchdowns on the season. No passing touchdowns, but they have touchdowns. Iowa, you could do better. John, how are you feeling out there in Salt Lake City?
Good, brother. I'm looking forward to it. We got a couple of strong SEC matchups, a couple of West Coast games out here. We've got intra-Texas game that always could go either way. So I'm excited, man. A lot of good football. I kind of slept. I was telling Champ that this week was a sleeper week, and then I re-looked at it. I was like, it's a lot better than I thought. With especially the game day, the game of the week, we all know the number one lock. You know, we'll get to that later, obviously, but it's going to be a good week. I'm excited.
All right. Well, like I said, Mac is not with us this week, and it's a good thing that he's not, because if he was, we'd have to rename the show to actually something about having good picks, because he went 8-1-1 on the weekend last weekend. Our good buddy Champ Jr., he went 6-8, not so bad on his picks on the show. In his personal pool, though, it was a whole lot worse. What was it, 2-12?
2-12.
2-12.
No further questions.
That's pretty bad. But in the words of Will Muschamp, that's on him. He's going to get it fixed. And for the first time picking with us this year, Bad Take Peyton, he didn't realize that he didn't have to pick the over-unders on every single thing. But that was good for him, because otherwise he would have gone, I think it was 4-6. He ended up going 8-11 on the picks. I don't pick. Doug Dickey, good Christian boy. You shouldn't gamble with your money, especially not with inflation as high as it is. That being said, we're going to roll right into this week's picks. The first game up at noon, we got number 5, Clemson Tigers taking on the number 21 Wake Forest. What are they? The Demon Deacons. Such a cool mascot. Good for them. Dabo Sweeney is going to run out of the tunnel and take his Tigers, who are giving 7 points, and the over-under 55.5 points here. Start with Champ. How do you feel about this one?
So Clemson's offense kind of blows. You know, we saw them week 1 versus Georgia Tech. They were very slow starting. Wake Forest is going to be their toughest opponent yet. Wake Forest also not great. They escaped Liberty last week. Um, it was a failed 2-point conversion, but they looked like absolute shit. I didn't watch the game, but that's what I read. The defense had 4 turnovers. So 2 offenses that stink, a lot of turnovers. I'm going to go with the under in this game. So under 55.5.
Bad take, Peyton. Are you going to pick both this time, or are you just going to stick to one or the other? Or how do we feel about this one?
Now that I know the rules, I will stay away from this over under because it's already pretty low. I do know Clemson's offense is pretty bad, but it's just I don't know. Like, is it going to be the week that DJ Uiagalelei? I don't know how close that was. Probably not very.
Yeah, I don't know.
But is this going to be the week that he comes out and he's finally like the 5-star QB that everyone was hopeful that he was, or is he going to look as awful as he did against Georgia Tech and every other ACC terrible defense? So I think that this is actually going to be Cade Klubnik's coming out party. They're going to be doing so bad in the first half that the true freshman 5-star backup QB is going to come out. He's going to save Clemson, and Clemson is going to cover the 7 points because they're going to win by 10. But I'm not going to touch this over under because I'm not confident on their ability to score.
Bonesy Jonesy, how we feeling?
The final score of this game is going to be 9-6, and it's going to be a sleep fest ever because Clemson's going to flop like they normally do. They played Georgia Tech, they played Louisiana Tech, and they played Furman, and I don't think they looked good in any of those games. This game's going to be a sleeper fest. I'm not saying – I mean, I still think they're a good team, Clemson. I don't think they're number 5 in the country. They do have a good defense. Uyunga is a huge flop. With bad take. I hope he comes out. The next Trevor Lawrence comes in and back up, or the next Tua, and puts on a show. But that's probably not going to happen. I don't know. I haven't been high on Clemson the past couple of years. 6-9, staying away from the under, staying away from the spread. Easy pick.
So
He's taking Wake Forest to cover. He's taking Wake Forest.
You're taking Wake. Okay.
Yes. Sorry. Yes.
Okay.
They're not going to go anywhere near 55 points, though.
Okay, so you like Wake and you're leaning under, but you're not picking the under.
Yes.
Okay.
Not picking the under. Like Wake Forest. Hate Clemson. 9-6. Final score.
Who's got the better orange, Tennessee or Clemson?
I'm like partially colorblind, so I really couldn't tell you. But even better question to ask. Honestly, I have no idea. But I'm going to assume it's this orange. And I can't really see it. So we'll go.
Yeah.
All right, next game up. Somehow we've got a Champ, check the card. There's a basketball game on the card for this weekend. That doesn't make any sense. Are we already picking basketball games or?
No, it's football, baby.
Football, and we're picking Duke at Kansas, with Kansas giving 7.5 points and an over-under of 66. This is hell has frozen over, and Christ is coming back as we speak. I'm a little bit nervous that people are going to start coming up out of the ground and traveling on their way to heaven. Anyhow, Duke at Kansas. Kansas giving 7.5. Start with Champ again. How do you feel about this one?
So last week I flipped my pick from Houston, I originally had Kansas, and then I started listening to Bad Take Peyton, and his takes were bad. I mean, who would have thought? And I switched over back to Houston, just trying to get the tail end of that Shasta pick. However, Kansas fucking ended up winning the game. What was the score of that one? It was like
42-30 or something crazy.
48-30. They beat the shit out of Houston. So Kansas, I'm fully on the wagon. I think Kansas, they're good. Duke, these are two of the positively worst programs in the history of football. So it's kind of funny that they got scheduled, but maybe not anymore. Kansas, they're going to beat the hell out of them. I love Kansas in the points.
Bad Take Peyton, what's your rebuttal here?
it's going to be another bad take. I feel like I was so wrong last week.
Don't pick Kansas.
So
Fuck.
I was so confident that Kansas had their best win of the season, and it's like, is this going to be a huge ordeal like it is with Kentucky, that the football program's decent now, where like there's going to be feud between the basketball coach and the football coach, and if Kansas wins or it beats Duke, that all the basketball fans are going to come out now and start talking about how they love football and how they've always watched football their entire life and all these other lies. So both teams 3-0. This is such a toss up. I don't even know how Kansas is favored. I feel like this should be like even money both ways. So I'm gonna take Duke to cover, and I'll actually take the under on this game.
Yeah, I think it's a safe under.
Yeah, 66 is pretty high.
I don't know. Not when both teams are scoring 31 and 48 in their best games. Anyhow, Dr. Jones, how do you feel?
So I'm kind of in similar sentiments of Champ, but honestly, I think this is going to be over 66 points. I think Kansas is going to go out there and score a shitload of points. I mean, they've done it every game this year. I don't see why this would change. I don't think Duke's going to come out and like have some special defense against them. So, but I also don't think it's going to, I just think, I think Kansas is also going to cover. I think they're going to win by 14, and it's going to be over 66. So Kansas over Duke. Pretty easy pick. But I definitely think they're going to score a lot of points. I don't know. I see what you guys are saying, but I think they're going to score a lot more points than you're thinking.
What a weird,
All right,
weird
so
time to be alive.
So you like Kansas and the over.
That's right.
Just the strangest. I never
Just fade me.
thought I would see the day that Kansas was getting gifted overs and points. What, I don't even know what to say anymore.
Yeah.
All right, at 3:30, the what are they? The tortoises? What is this Minnesota's mascots?
Gophers.
The Gophers. I always get that confused. It's because there's a gopher tortoise. That's my reasoning for that.
Yeah.
Anyway, Minnesota at Michigan State. Minnesota is giving 2.5, and the over/under is 51 on this one. Personally, I think if I was going to pick, I would pick Minnesota just because I think Michigan State sucks. They got the shit beat out of them by Mike Penix in Seattle. Go ahead. We'll go backwards this time. How do you feel about this one, John?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Minnesota's gonna smash. I don't think Michigan State's good at all. But Minnesota scored a lot of points in their first game against New Mexico State. They also scored a lot of points against Colorado last week. I think this is going to be a destruction. Minnesota taking the over and Minnesota to cover.
Bad take, Peyton.
Don't fall into the same trap where I took every single game over under. Or do, because it actually helped me out last week.
Yeah, over under save you.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Michigan State since last year. They were like the darling of Cinderellas, and Mel Tucker got one of the biggest contract extensions we've ever seen to keep him away from all the hungry Power 5 team, or I guess they are Power 5, but all the blue blood football programs that had head coaching openings. And now they've just kind of fallen back to where Michigan State has been, especially defense, when Mel Tucker's a defensive guy. So this number's close enough to me where I think Minnesota's going to win. I would take a money line, so I might as well take them 2.5. So I'll take Minnesota to cover. They played really well this year, and Michigan State just hasn't. So
Champ.
Yeah, so the spot is telling me Michigan State is getting points at home, but they did suck last week. They didn't have any push. I think that the big difference from this season to last season is their running back, the number 9. I think it was Kenneth Walker was his name. He was a stud for Michigan State last year, and he pretty much floated the whole team, and he's gone now. Minnesota actually has a guy kind of like that in Muhammad Ibrahim, He had 200 yards last week against Colorado in their 49-7 blowout. And Michigan State, like I said, they had no push against or in Seattle last week. So I think that spells Minnesota covering. Um, this feels like an under type game, and normally you would see these teams in their uniforms and you would pick the under. But Minnesota's just been so explosive through the beginning of the season that I'm going to stay away from it. So Gophers -2.5.
Don't fail
I
us.
think we know the same pick.
Don't fail us now, Minnesota. We believe in you.
Row the boat.
Row the boat. Do they still have the same guy?
Yeah, PJ
He's
Fleck.
still there. He's rowing the boat. Rowing his little oars away. Okay, the next game up, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish suck. At North Carolina. North Carolina giving 2 points. The over-under is 56 here. Have we finally realized that Notre Dame is always, always overrated? Champ, you tell us what we're going to learn more about them this week.
Yeah, they are overrated. They suck. I've been preaching this for years. I again said it this year. I've been dogging Notre Dame. I'm one of their whatever the opposite of biggest fan is. That's me. I hate their guts. But I don't have any faith in North Carolina whatsoever. Have no idea who's going to win this game, but North Carolina can score some fucking points, and I don't think Notre Dame's defense is going to be able to stop them. So I like the over of 56.
Peyton, what's your bad take?
So there's a difference between just being overrated and being flat out terrible. Like, yes, Notre Dame has been overrated, but usually that's because they go like 10-1 or 11-1 and they play nobody and then they get exposed against bigger, better teams. Where this year they've not only lost to awful teams, but they are what 1-2 now,
Mm-hmm.
and with an almost they might as well have been 0-3 with almost losing to Cal. So I feel like at some point they got to right the ship. There's no way that under a new head coach they start 1-3 with the terrible schedule that they have. So I'm going to actually take Notre Dame money line. I think they win this game. I think the Catholic gods come down and throw the quarterback. Jesus reincarnated comes back, not Trevor Lawrence, but different guy, and comes back as a QB for Notre Dame, and they decide to win this game. UNC barn burner versus App State. I mean, we've seen App State do pretty well this year, but I feel like it's a barn burner every game that they're in. And then Georgia State also only beating them by 7. That wasn't anything to sell me that UNC is this new improved team, or at least the team that everyone liked 2 years ago. So yeah, I'll take Notre Dame money line.
Mr. Jones,
We are.
Marshall.
Penn State.
We are Marshall. Honestly, if you would have told me at the beginning of the season that North Carolina is giving 2 points to Notre Dame, I probably would have died laughing. I'm still laughing, but I would have physically died in the act of laughing at that. So, not only is this the worst game on the slot, it's just, I can't even believe it. Notre Dame is always, always overrated. Let's get it clear. I agree with you guys 100%. They are the worst. I hate them so much. Just it's ridiculous. I'm taking North Carolina. I can't believe I'm saying this. North Carolina to win. However, I believe it's going to stay under 56. So North Carolina to cover. Under. I'm taking Peyton's advice, doing a couple unders.
You're doing both?
Yeah. No,
Just got to pad your stats a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. I got to take Peyton's advice for sure.
All right, next game up at, I think this is also 3:30. Yes, 3:30. Number 22, Texas did not fall to the hangover loss last week. They are at Texas Tech. giving 6.5 points, and the over/under is 60. Feels like this is one of those games where that's easy over. I could be wrong. Go ahead, champ.
Yeah, normally I would be all over the over, and this is kind of screaming to me, take the over, but I think the play is actually the under because these teams are not scoring all that much, or I'm sorry, they're not. Yeah, I guess they're not scoring that much. I mean, Texas, they didn't allow a ton of points against Alabama. They didn't allow a lot of points versus UTSA. Texas Tech, they also didn't allow a lot of points or score a lot versus NC State. Their QB sucked and they turned the ball over a lot. Um, so I'm kind of leaning under. Uh, but no, I don't really want to take that. I'm going to take Texas. I'm going to take the Horns minus 6.5. I think that they're going to have no problem out in Lubbock. This is always a fun one. There was a couple years ago, me and John were actually watching this together in Austin on a rooftop. I remember. I think it was during COVID actually, and yeah, it should be a fun one out in Lubbock. I think Texas is gonna cover the 6.5 though.
Peyton, how do you feel about this one?
So first of all, shout out to my boy Christian Freimuller and his soon-to-be wife Caitlin. This is their favorite game of the season. Freimuller is a Longhorns fan, and Caitlin is a Raider, a Red Raider. Is that what they are? The Red Raiders. So it's always fun when it's house divided, um, fiance on fiance. So this will be a fun one for them. Texas has looked good since that Alabama game. I've thought Bijan Robinson has been the best running back in college football for the past 2 years.
Yep.
I tried to single-handedly win him the Heisman last year by campaigning for him because I think he's that good. 200 all-purpose yards. Was that?
You were tweeting for him?
Yeah, I was running that campaign, and I think he's going to do work again against Texas Tech. Texas Tech has just had turnover issues. I mean, they've looked okay, but nothing like fantastic. Where I actually think Texas has somewhat turned the page on what they were the past decade almost of football, where they're actually putting a good product on the field. So I think they actually win by. I think they cover. I think they'll win by like 10 or more points, but I'll just take them in the points. And I will take the over on this game too.
Double
I feel like
dip.
this is another game that Texas is just scoring left and right, and Bijan breaks a couple 40-yarders or something and takes it to the house.
It's a fun over to have too. You're rooting for points, rooting for busted plays. That's the kind of shit you want in an over.
And that's just Big 12 football. That's the
Yeah.
Big 12 football we've come to know and love.
Yeah, classic.
All right, Mr. Jones.
I just found the photo of Champ and I at the game, the Tech game, absolutely shit hammered, having a grand old time in Austin, and that was the most ridiculous game, if you remember.
That was.
Yeah, because they were going. There was like 3 overtimes, and we were with a table of Tech people, a table of Horns. We all had Horns shit on because you're in Austin, you got to cheer for the Horns, but they ended up losing to Tech because this game's always a toss up, and I'm going to agree with Doug and Peyton. This is a safe over every time because it's just going to be back and forth. It's going to be left and right. It's going to come down to a field goal at the end, like it always does. And honestly, it's a coin toss. Like even though Texas does look good this year, Texas Tech also looks pretty good. So I'm going to say Texas Tech wins this, taking the over. But I don't think they cover that 6.5. I think it's a field goal victory.
Wait, you said that you're taking Texas Tech to win?
Texas Tech is going to win, but they're not going to win by 6.5.
Well, no, they're getting the 6.5. They're 6.5 point dogs.
Oh, I misread that. Yeah. So that makes sense. I thought it was the opposite.
Yeah.
No, he's taking a money line.
He
Put that
likes
down.
Texas Tech money line.
Yeah, go ahead and put that down.
He
Actually,
doesn't need the touchdown. He just gonna take a money line.
Don't need it. Touchdowns for pussies. All right. Fucking ride,
Write
John.
that on
Let's
the sheet.
go.
But yeah, that makes total sense now. Moneyline Tech.
All right,
And the over.
and the over. Yeah, wild picks here. Next,
He's a fucking savage.
next game up. Remember, we have no legal responsibility for the picks that are made on this show. Please
Yeah, I would like to see that lawsuit.
do
Like,
not.
these fucking guys told me to pick fucking Tech money line, and I did it.
It's called booty
Their
picks
fault.
for a reason. Next game up is number 15 Oregon frauds at Washington State. Oregon giving 6.5 points. Just frauds, total frauds. And the over-under is 57.5. Oh, I'm sorry. They beat BYU. I was thinking that they lost to BYU. I'm stupid.
They killed him.
I'm stupid. That's my bad. Maybe not frauds. Scratch that. I'm an idiot. Anyway, Oregon giving 6.5 at Washington State. Champ, what's your pick?
Yeah, I was all over BYU. I thought that was an easy pick last week. They ended up killing me in that one. Bashed my brains in. So I got to go with. God, I hate picking Bo Nix, man. I fucking hate it. But that's what I'm going to do. I'm picking Oregon, giving points on the road to Wazoo out in bumfuck Egypt, Washington. I think the Ducks are going to come in and cream them. Even though Wazoo had a big win against Wisconsin, I think that they don't have the firepower to deal with Oregon. So yeah, go Ducks.
Peyton, what's your pick?
Is Bo Nix elite? Maybe we're all been wrong about Bo Nix after all of these years.
Hey, man.
And there was just
Kirby Smart says
Go
that
ahead.
he's the greatest athlete or one of the greatest athletes he's ever seen play quarterback. So maybe we're just wrong.
I think he maybe just like came across Aaron Rodgers' girlfriend, and the witch put a hex on Bo Nix that he always played bad against Georgia, no matter which team he played for. So, if that is the case, I'm going to take Oregon to cover the spread against Wazoo, and I won't touch the over under because I don't have to.
John Jones, how you feel about this one?
I'm with you, Peyton. Exactly how he said it. Although I do think Bo Nix is a pussy. So I'm just going to go ahead and say he's not an athlete at the quarterback position. Regardless of what Kirby Smart says, Kirby Smart's also a big pussy. So, yeah, I staying away from the over, and I think Oregon's going to cover the spread. So, go.
Quack, quack.
Quack, quack, quack. 7 p.m.
Quack.
games. Finally, I don't have to be in the stadium and I can watch these for once. First one up, number 10, Arkansas at number 23, Texas A&M. Somehow, Texas A&M is giving 2.5 points here. And the over-under, a very, very, measly 48.5 points. Champ, go ahead and take us away on this one.
Yeah, I'm all over this one. I fucking love the pigs in this game. Texas A&M has proven to me that they cannot score points. Arkansas can score points. I think KJ Jefferson is a very good quarterback. Last weekend, Arkansas kind of struggled against Missouri State. I texted earlier our boy Danny Walmart and said, "What the fuck was that? Like, why was it even close?" And I realized then that fucking their coach at Missouri State is Bobby Petrino. So he was trying to get a revenge game going, and he kept it close. He said he called a fucking threw a bomb on 4th and 1, doing wild shit. So I mean, I don't hold it against them that they struggled last weekend. I think they're going to go into Texas A&M and wax them. Texas A&M, they got outgained in every category last weekend. They still haven't scored over 20. Yeah, I'll go Pigs. Suey, let's go.
Peyton, how do you feel about this one?
Yeah, so I'm still big on the Arkansas train. Um, I think they're good. I can't believe that they're getting points. I know they're at Texas A&M, and probably Kyle Field, where normal stadiums gets you 3 points as an advantage. Kyle Field probably gets you 4 or 5, maybe. Same with like LSU or places like Michigan, the Swamp. Crazy atmospheres. But I think the way that Arkansas plays their football is they run it and they're good at it and they have a really good quarterback that hasn't been really phased no matter where he's played at. KJ Jefferson's probably one of the better QBs in this league. So I'm gonna take them. I'm gonna take them to cover. And I'll actually take the over on 48.5. I don't think this is gonna be like a 7 overtime game where it's like 70-72. But I do think both of them can score over that amount.
The Hogs beat them last year too. That was a good game. I think it was neutral site in
Yeah.
Dallas.
It crazy SEC West where like Arkansas beats them and then they beat Alabama and then it doesn't really matter because the best teams still go to the Final Four and regular season doesn't mean shit anymore.
All right, John, how do you feel about this one?
Woo fucking pig is all I gotta say. I think we're all on the train. Our boy Danny Walmart has somehow gotten me on the train of being an Arkansas fan because I've never been a fan of Arkansas, but I think Pittman's a real deal. I just can't imagine being a defensive back trying to hit someone of KJ Jefferson's size. Like the dude is massive. He's just like he just reminds me of like a Tebow, of just like someone that you'd hate to go hit. Like it would just suck completely. I think this is
And
their
he had the jump pass too a couple weeks ago.
yeah, and he always dives forward in the end zone, never slides, dude. He's such a savage. But yeah, I think with that being said, I do think it's going to be a really tough game. Bad take Peyton had a good point. Kyle Field is crazy to play at, and it's a huge stadium, and it's very similar vibes to Ben Hill. It's loud, it's massive. I don't know. This is a tough one. I do think Arkansas wins. I'm not gonna take the over, um, and if they win, they'll win by a field goal. So I say Arkansas. Um, Arkansas by 3. Again, tough game though. So
Well, they're getting the 3.
yeah, so I think Arkansas with the points.
Hell yeah. Pigs.
All right, next game up. John, you said that Clemson Wake was going to be the most boring game on the schedule. Not so fast, my friend. This one is going to be the most boring game on the schedule. Like I said offline before we got started. I think it was offline before we got started. Florida doesn't have any passing touchdowns on the season, but we can run the ball. It sucks. Good vibes to AR. Hope he gets right. Iowa can't score fucking touchdowns. They had a 7-3 victory in week 1 because they had 2 safeties and a field goal. They scored a few touchdowns last week against Nevada, but Nevada's not a good football team. This game is going to set college football back 350 years. Iowa somehow giving 7, even though they can't score touchdowns, to Rutgers. The over-under is 34 and a half points. What a boring football game. I don't even know, whoever scheduled this at 7 p.m. in a primetime slot, you deserve to be fired. No one is going to watch this game because it's going to suck. They might watch it because they want to relish in how awful it is and just roll and root around in the mud like a pig or something. I don't know. Anyway, rant over. Champ, take us away.
Yeah, I've seen soccer overs that are higher than this. Fuck, dude, I don't even know where to go because this would be like a 10-24 game would take it to the close to the over. and I don't see that happening. But I'll be damned if I'm gonna pick a fucking under of 34. That's crazy, dude. But I think, oh god, I'm gonna hold my nose and pick Rutgers to cover the 7. Oof, that sounded bad coming out of my mouth, but yeah, I'm gonna go with the Scarlet Knights. I think Iowa is gonna have trouble scoring at all. I think we might be looking at like a 10-7 kind of game. So yeah, that's what I'm going with. Rutgers, please God, please cover.
Peyton, what's your pick?
So, yes, their offense is atrocious, but they've also only gave up 13 points this year through 3 games. And last year they had a crazy turnover margin of like plus, I don't even know what the number is. I'm just going to make it up, like 25 on interceptions alone. So I don't think their offense needs a score. I feel like their defense is going to be the one that only puts points on the board, and they're going to have like 2 touchdowns from the defensive alone.
Wrong.
They'll need it.
I might still take the under at 34. I could have like 14 TVs up like on my wall, but I'd still put this on like my iPad mini in the corner, like just to host this game. That's how little interest I have in this game. So I'll take Iowa to cover. I think their defense scores 2 pick sixes and they beat Rutgers. Rutgers isn't the pushover like they used to be in years prior where they would go 0-12, but I think Iowa's defense is actually pretty good.
All right, John.
So I don't know if their defense is good. Like, I mean, who did they play? Like, they played like South Dakota State. Like, I'm with you, Peyton, but I don't know. I think this is their last coming out party for Iowa before they just get absolutely shit clobberhoused by Michigan next week. But then again, like, this game sucks. Like, this is the one game I probably don't care about as well. I think Iowa's going to win by 2 touchdowns, so taking Iowa to cover. That over-under is atrocious. I'll go over just because I don't care.
That'll be fun. That'll be a fun over to root for. It's pretty low.
100% not watching this game. I'm going to watch everything else. I'm going to watch a rerun of Saturday Night Live before watching this game, so you can go ahead and count on it.
Don't listen.
Can you bet on the amount of punts that it's going to be in this game?
That would
like the
be
over-under on punts?
I think you can. I think they'll have a couple props.
Yeah, if that's a prop bet available, I would take the over on any number they give me for punts.
Yeah, that would be a fun one.
Don't listen to anything that these 3 clowns just said. Hammer, hammer, hammer the under. There is no way that there will be more than 34 points scored in this game. It is impossible. Iowa couldn't even score more than 34 points against Nevada. What else?
They're daring you to do
it. And what was Rutgers defeated Temple 16-14. Hammer, hammer, hammer the under. That is all I have to say. I rest my case, Your Honor.
I don't have the balls for it.
You don't have to have balls. It's just simple math and statistics. It's right there. It's staring you in the face. It's not even begging you to do it. It's staring you in the face.
All right, put me down for the fucking under then. Put me down for the fucking. I'll pick it. I'll pick that motherfucker. 34. I mean, that's just a historic under.
I want to make myself watch this game. Yeah, it's going to be after the Florida-Tennessee game, so I'm probably going to be too intoxicated to remember. But give me the over.
Way to watch it.
Give me the over. I'm going to take the over, and I'm going to root my ass off for these teams.
Fun under to cheer for, honestly, because there's nothing better than that. Punt, 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 turnover on downs, punt, punt, interception, fumble, punt, punt, punt graphic that they're going to put up.
I can't wait for the graphics.
Oh, yeah. All right. Next game up, 7:30 p.m., Wisconsin at, God help their souls, they're taking on the number 3 Ohio State Buckeyes. Ohio State giving 18 points at home. The over-under is 57 here. Champ, how do you feel about this one?
Yeah, so Ohio State, they're doing a blackout in the shoe. Wisconsin, they lost to fucking Wazoo a couple weeks ago. It's going to be tough sledding for the poor Badgers. I think the Buckeyes are going to whip their ass. I think this is easily going to go over 57. I think that they're going to crush Wisconsin. They might get the 57 alone. So I like the Buckeyes. I don't know if yeah, I'll go Ohio State minus 18 and the over of 57.
Crazy. Probably what's going to happen, though. It's going to be a bloodbath.
It's going to be a bloodbath.
All right, Peyton, how do you feel about this one?
So Ohio State's offense isn't the juggernaut that everyone thought it was going to be this year. The fact that they're only getting like 18, where they'd probably, if they were running on all cylinders, getting like 30 or something. But with that being said, I still think they're good enough to win by at least 18. Like you said, blackout. It's going to be a huge night game um, at the, what do they call it? The horseshoe or
Yeah, the horseshoe.
whatever it's called. What a cool name for a stadium. Yeah, so I'll just take them to cover 18.
All right. John, how do you feel about this one?
Special place in my heart for Ohio State. I went to the Michigan-Ohio State game 4 years ago, and we woke up. It was a noon game. We woke up at 9 a.m. and bought $500 tickets a piece just to get into the stadium. Sat in the Michigan band section. Dwayne Haskins went forward to put up like 58 points on them and just destroyed them. I think Ohio State has played nobody this year because they beat
Notre Dame.
So they have played nobody. And so with that being said, I think it's going to be closer than we think. I think Ohio State covers. I think they win by 3 touchdowns. And then, yeah, that 57, I think I'll take the over on that as well. But with that being said, I think it's going to be 3 touchdown victory, not a 6 touchdown victory. I don't think they're going to blow them out as bad as we think.
Okay.
I still think they're going to get their ass kicked. Let's get it clear.
All right.
You just like to keep them guessing.
Yeah, for real. It's not going to be as close as we think, but I think they're going to lose by 3 touchdowns.
Well,
What do we think? They're going to lose by 18.
I mean, they haven't played anyone, like we said, Notre Dame, Toledo. Like, I don't know. This is their first like actual test, so we'll see. And I don't think it's a really big test.
All right, the penultimate pick of the night. Number 7 USC at Oregon State. USC giving 6.5 points, and the over/under is 71, going the opposite direction of the Iowa Rutgers game here. Champ, how do you feel about this one?
I love this spot for USC. That over is crazy. I don't really get why it is that. Maybe double check that, Doug. But I think that USC is gonna kill them in Corvallis. USC they beat the only game you really need to look at is both these teams played Fresno State. One team beat Fresno 45-17 and the other one beat Fresno 35-32. So I'm going to go with the team that can play a marginal amount of defense. I think that USC minus 6.5 is crazy. I think on any given year USC beats the hell out of them by 2 scores at least. So that's the pick. That's you'll see later, but yeah, I'm all over USC this week.
The over/under is correct here. It is 71 points.
That is insane.
Crazy. Peyton, what's your pick?
We are 3 weeks into the Lincoln Riley era, and I'm already sick of USC. They've just been gone from this earth since 2005 in regards to relevance in the college football world, and I'm already sick of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane. Like, everyone's just talking them up. Oh, like, they're 3-0 already. Like, has he already, like, turned the ship there? Like, they're really crazy good. And, I mean, I'll take them to cover this easily. I'll take them to cover 2 touchdowns even, but I won't. I'll take the 6.5. But I really hope they lose this game. I can't stand them already being ranked number 7 after so many years of irrelevance.
Yeah, I match your I match your hopes. I hope they do lose, but I don't think they will. I would have USC minus 16.5 for this.
Where my money usually goes is not where my heart usually goes. So.
Correct.
John, what's your pick here?
And that's usually smart. Bad take, Peyton, but I'm going to flip the script here just slightly because I just wanted to bring some spice because I don't really give a fuck about this game, to be honest. But let's just say Oregon State wins just out of nowhere. It's a huge upset this week. It's the Marshall Notre Dame. Everyone exposes USC. Everyone realizes they're not number 7 in the country. So with all that being said, and just because I'm feeling spicy, I think I'm gonna take Oregon State to win the game, and I'm gonna take the over. And if both of those hit, I'm gonna run around my apartment naked, completely butt naked with a boner, and I'm gonna freak out because that would be the best pick I've ever had, and it'll be the greatest.
Yeah, for real, dude. That's you're freaking Oregon State money line and over 71. You're fucking wild, man, dude.
It's gonna be a fourth quarter or fourth overtime win where Oregon State just barely pulls it out, and that's how
there's no more points left in overtime though. It's all 2-point conversions after the second or third one, I think, right?
Well, that's how Vegas is actually the one that came up with this, just to save their ass on games that went over just because they went to overtime.
Damn, John is cowboying up.
Well, you should put like $10 on that for real, because if you win, I feel like you would win like $1 million.
I would love to. I'd have to go through you guys because there's no sports betting in Utah. I know you guys can do it for me. Send me a Venmo.
All right, I got you, John. I'll let you know what that comes back to.
Just throw 10. We'll figure it out later.
All right. The final game on the slate this weekend, number 13 Utah at the newly Herm Edwards-less Arizona State Sun Devils. Utah giving 14, and the over/under here is 54. Champ, how do you feel about this one?
Sorry, say it again. It was Arizona State. Oh, Arizona State is going to lose this game by 40 points. There's no reason. Herm Edwards got fired on the field last week because they lost to Eastern Michigan. I don't see any way they're even going to get close to the 14. So I have I love, and Utah's been playing. They've been killing teams since they lost at Florida. So yeah, I love the Utes here. This is a good spot for them.
Peyton.
So this is actually one of my locks of the week. We've seen what teams do, like Nebraska, after they fire their head coach. Utah is going to splatter the wall with Arizona State's blood.
Making pizzas.
And I feel bad for Emory Jones. He's already gotten 2 coaches fired now, but he might get his interim coach fired after the performance that they're going to put on the field against Utah. I will take Utah, and I'm not going to touch the over-under.
No balls. John Jones, how do you feel about this one?
Herm Edwards, did you mean Tony Dungy? No. But all I got to say is I think Utah is going to – I'm going to echo the sentiments, but Cam Rising is going around sleeping with all the Mormon moms after that Florida loss. He's getting his mojo back like Austin Powers. He's coming back. He's throwing dimes. He's growing his hair out. He's a stud. They're going to come out absolutely slaughtering. It's going to be 28 points in the first 5 minutes. It's going to be a destruction. We will go ahead and, absolutely take the over. Absolutely take Utah to cover. I would pick this as my lock of the week, but you already know where my lock stands in game day in K-Town. But this would definitely be number 2. But I just can't pass up the boys taking the dub this year,
All right. Moving on to the locks of the week. Champ's got 1. Peyton's got a couple. Or actually, Champ's got 2 and Peyton has 2. Go ahead, Champ.
Yeah, so like I said earlier, love the pigs in this spot. I think that Arkansas getting 2.5 in College Station is insane. I don't know why they're not favored in this game. And in fact, the line, I wouldn't be surprised if it moved and they were favored by game time. So get in early, get the pigs. They're gonna roll in College Station. And then my other one is USC. I love USC. I think that they're gonna kill the Beavers. I know that John is all over the fucking uh, Beavers, but I don't see any reason why they are any good. So I think they're gonna get smoked. So Arkansas and the Trojans.
All right, Peyton, you have a couple locks here. What do you got?
Yeah. So first one I said, I think Utah clobbers Arizona State minus 14. That's just back up the Briggs truck, unload your entire savings account onto this game. Don't say that I told you that, but because my
Responsibly
takes are
back it up.
terrible. Yeah, responsibly back it up. If it doesn't have the beeping noise, just make sure you do it. And then my next game is Michigan. They're only favored by 16.5. I think they cover that too. I think Michigan is the real deal. I think they've kind of proven that. They ran into the buzzsaw that was Georgia last year, but so did everybody else. Um, yeah, Michigan 16.5.
And who is Michigan playing? Oh, Maryland.
Maryland.
R.I.P. Jacob Copeland.
They got little Tua.
Yeah, they got
Yeah.
Tua's brother.
Lil Tua playing or throwing it to Copeland.
Well, R.I.P. to both of them.
Where is that at? Is that the Big House
Yeah.
or is that in Maryland?
Michigan
Okay.
is at home.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Bones Stones Jones, what's your lock of the week? God fucking damn it.
I mean, we already know, but let's just say it for fun, because this is a podcast and we need to reiterate. But the Tennessee Vols are going to fucking smash Florida. I'm taking the points. It's a lock. Unload whatever savings account you have. If there's ever been a year, it's this year. I can confidently say the past 2 years I've done this show that I was absolutely not confident, but this is the year. Even if we don't win again until 2030, 2022 is a good one. It's the lock of the week.
No pressure.
No pressure at all. Gross. God.
Pissing
I
me
just
off,
feel
dude.
like I have to go shower now.
You're picking the fucking Vols minus 10.5.
You beat your fucking food. Shut up.
I don't sound like that at all.
We gotta have this one. This is the
Hey,
year.
take it back, dude. Take it back.
Listen, man, we've been gracious to you this whole time, and you're just spitting in our face.
Yeah, we invite you on our podcast, and this is what you do. This is how you're gonna act.
I'm just glad.
Unruly.
I'm just glad Mac's not here. Else it would have just been it would have been way worse. He loves to dig in, so maybe I'm not glad he's
Yeah,
not.
well, fuck you. I'll add to it.
Peyton's not
Piece
gonna-
of shit, fucking pussy.
No, listen, Peyton is nowhere. He's amicable compared to Mac in this situation. We can't have him on here for this episode, I guess. But
You're gonna come to regret those words.
Yeah, you fucking pussy.
Well, it's
slack
bad taking
Anthony
line,
Richardson is gonna embrace it and just
backwood,
fucking.
no shoe having ass bitch.
Yeah, I'm gonna go eat lunch with the team tomorrow and tell them that John Bones Jones said that the Florida Gators are soft and the Tennessee's gonna beat them by 10.5 or
And they're
more.
gonna be like, who? Oh, that fat fucking pussy in the fucking Manning jersey.
they're gonna be like,
I'm
"Oh,
I'm
I
just
know
gonna
him."
share.
You're like
I'm just gonna share the video.
You're like Roman
called
Harper
Spare
calling
Me Some
Kentucky's offensive line soft. You just did yourself in, but no pressure, man. You got nothing to lose. You guys are in such a great spot. You got nothing to lose, so you might as well go out and
I
take
can
it,
just
right?
hear the trembling in all of your voices. No pressure. It's like that's just what you're saying because you, when we do smash, you're gonna have nothing else to say but no pressure. So just keep
Shut up.
keep on those words.
Shut up, dude.
With that being said, we'll close this out for tonight. As always, we're legally required to remind you that we have no idea what the hell we're talking about. You should not use our advice to bet. You certainly should not use our advice to back up the Brinks truck or unload your savings accounts. That's a bad idea, and we don't know anything. Maybe next week when Mac is back on the show, you can listen to him, since again he went 8-1-1. But the rest of us are probably going to look at this and realize that, hey, we still don't know what we're talking about, and it is what it is, and that's okay because we're just here to have fun. Once again, this is Booty Picks. I'm Doug Dickey with Champ, Bad Take Peyton, and John Bones Jones. Say so long and go get your